Everyone, thanks for joining me for another micro maintenance video. This is the first in a series on carbon filters. Today we're dismantling and breaking down our carbon filter. This will allow you to remove and replace the external and internal filters, remove the charcoal inside, and replace or reactivate it if you choose. Both options will save you a ton of money, and it'll just save resources instead of buying filters every single time. These are my old air filters. You can see what this looks like after washing it once. It's pretty filthy. I mean, this is after washing, so these stains are from all the impurities it was sucking out, all the smell from what we were growing. And I went online and looked, and everyone said these things cannot be opened, and I refused to believe that. So I found someone who said to drill out the rivets instead of taking off the base rivet, which would probably be the smartest. I didn't want to flip it over and sit it on these threads, which could get bent, and they have to be perfect to get in the holes in the back of this cabinet. Let me go back here. There we go. So they have to sit perfectly in those 4 holes, and if they're bent, they don't go in, and it makes it incredibly difficult. Anyway, the first one just popped out. What I did was first, I drilled the first hole with an 1/8 inch multi-purpose drill bit. Now I'm trying to do it one-handed. Listening to old episodes of Walker, Texas Ranger in the background. Move that around a bit. The other one just popped off really easily. This one, I think because I came in at an angle, I haven't completely gotten it out. I was able to get all 3 rivets off. There is a little bit of like residual metal in there that I think is kind of keeping it on, but for the most part I now have a little bit of wiggle room on here. You can see that moving. So now I just got to find a way to pry this off. You can see it just poking it with the pliers. It does have a little bit of give now, so just got to take that part off. So now that I have the top off, I can show you what I did. I just used this old gnarly screwdriver I use where the tip is jacked up, so I use it for random stuff. I just shoved it through until that little bit of metal left came out, and then the tops came off. And you can see another one. Here's another one. From the piece that was drilled out. Just try to get some focus taken. There you go. And then the last one kind of stayed in place. And that's that. So now take that off. This pan. That is one emptied filter. So it definitely helps keep the centerpiece centered to have that charcoal in there, but I'm pretty secure and thinking we'll have an easy time refilling this. Oh, knock on wood. We're gonna try to reactivate this and also buy some more. It's also really good to open this up because I can see that we have pellets, and that's good, whereas I almost ordered loose charcoal instead of pellets because I didn't know what was going to be inside here, and I thought it was loose granular carbon. Now that everything's out, you can see that it's 3 main parts. It's this central this exterior piece, this central cone that is attached to the base. Hey, I'm hella glad I didn't take this part off first and leave everything on the other side. This was about around the bottom. It was a little off and scrunched down in certain spots. So I think when it was created or installed, it wasn't done properly, and there were some gaps where air could definitely come through. And then this is the top piece. So it all goes back together like that. And then there's another foam piece in here. So my concern is that these two pieces, which allow airflow to come through, they are lined with something, and I would love to replace that liner. However, I haven't seen any information about the internal liners, replacing those, because that one, it's not super sticky, but it definitely is covered in a thick layer of stuff, which is coming all off of my hands. So if anybody has ideas on what I could use for that for the future, I'd love to replace that. For right now, I'm probably going to keep it on. The other option is to throw this entire thing in the dishwasher and wash it. And I'm kind of leaning towards that. Just leave that thing on there. I mean, it sounds really stupid. Why would you do that? But just to clean this, I wouldn't mind throwing it in a water cycle and just letting hot water take everything off of there, and then make sure it's thoroughly and completely dry when putting it back on. I just emptied the second filter, and I want to show you a mistake I made. Not the lettuce crap from another experiment, but what I did with this. So the first one I took apart, I drilled out the holes, and immediately I saw that there were shredded pieces of metal on the bottom, and I dumped them out. This one, I forgot to do it because the rivets were so easy. I just popped all three on the first try. So when I dumped out all of the stuff, you can see all of the shredded pieces of metal are now on top, and I'm gonna have to find a way to get those out. Hopefully a magnet will work. But yeah, that's annoying. So don't forget to dump out the metal shreds before you take off the top and remove the carbon, just to save yourself a step. And I always keep magnets around. Let's see if this actually works. It does. This was a fairly simple project, much simpler than people set it out to be. So when I complete this, what I'm going to do is, you can see here the hole I drilled through and where it went into on the inner ring. There is not, however, an exit point on the back. These are kind of done at an angle. The other side would have been easier for what I'm about to do, but I drilled these out with a 9/64 drill bit. And what I'm going to do is look for tapping screws for metal that are about the same size, but long enough to go through. And when I put this back on, I will screw the screw all the way through here, through this hole, and out the other side, and I'll put a standard butterfly nut on there. So the next time I want to take this apart, I just have to undo the butterflies and just hope that where the butterflies lined up, that the external filter that we can, the cloth one that comes on and off, won't get in the way of those butterflies. And then this will be something I can reuse over and over and over again, as long as I figure out something to do with these inside pieces of material that essentially just keep the stuff in place. I'm wondering if I can just find some other mesh to put in there and just call it a day.
Thanks for watching, folks. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you can receive alerts for the next video in this series on carbon filters. Until next time, keep growing.